Hey everybody, thanks for joining me today. I always raise the round count. There we go. Thank you for joining me. I am doing a late stream today. Things got a little out of hand with a bunch of stuff today, which kept me from getting here on time yet again. But we're here now, so I think we're going to stream till maybe as late as 8 o'clock tonight. And I'm going to have to crank this down, I think. Is that going to help? No, that's not going to help me. Hold on a second. My music is just a little too loud for me. There we go. So I'm trying this orchestral copyright-free music this time around. We'll see if that gets me in trouble or not. But anyway, so we're here now. We started working on pages 26 and 27 last night, or yesterday, and we're going to keep on working on that today. Working through, it's a splash page or a two-page spread. So everything on page 26 is carrying over into 27, so it's one big image. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the stream here. So we are now on the stream, but I hadn't even pulled up the files yet. Let's get that going. Alrighty, here we go. We need page 26 and 27. There we go. And so we've got everybody kind of laid out at the end of the stream. I had gone through and put all of the head measurements in for each of these characters. And we're going to start from the front and work our way back. So we are starting with the elf cleric. And let's see, what is on? That's just her head measurement that's on there. I'm going to go ahead and open up my reference for the elf cleric. And we're going to go to a 2-up window so that now I have my reference in the one tab over here and my drawing in the other. And we're going to go ahead and get started with her. So let's zoom in a little bit. And so we've got this really rough sketch already, but the first thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this layer that I put the head measurements on. I'm going to take that down to say 50%. I'm going to put a new layer over the top, merge it down. So now my new drawing will go to full opacity or full 100% darkness, but the all the old stuff here is gonna be lighter. Now I know, let's see, we've got her looking into the scene, and okay, so she is charging up with her mace, which you can see over here in the reference, and in this scene, she's literally using her divine magic to destroy the skeleton army that's joining into this battle. So let's go ahead and put her here. She might be looking slightly down, like this. And so we're just kind of going through. Obviously, my initial sketch was very rough and very loose, so we're gonna have to fix this up and get her looking a little bit better. But we want to maintain whatever dynamic we actually had going on there. We want to keep that. We just want to tidy things up a bit in this sketch. So let's see. gonna say... Right, I was actually kind of bringing her forward a bit. So her hips would be about like so. Then that leg would be coming down. And let's see how this is gonna work out. I think I've stretched her out just a little bit much up top. So her hips probably ought to ride a little bit higher. Something like this. And we can go ahead and just get rid of some of this right here. And let's see, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep her knee here. I just want to make sure I don't make her legs too short, or it'll be a little bit funky here. Now we'll have her foot right there. This leg coming out a bit more like this, curving over this way. And her foot being there. Let's see. Okay, just setting up the basic construction here. Now this arm, I actually want to have, it's kind of going back in space, deeper into the image. And say her palm is here. And our hand is there. Something like this. Okay. I think that's about right. This arm, maybe a little bit less of a power thrust in the upper arm, but then a little bit more here past the elbow. Okay. I think we're getting it. And then the palm would actually be like right there. That would be the first knuckles. The second knuckles would be here. And of course, the her mace is coming out of her hand because she's holding it. Okay. So we're getting this going here. We can maybe zoom out a bit. Just kind of take a look at her. I still feel like I might have shortened her legs too much. Let's see. What if I take, well, we've already got her general height here, so I don't really need to worry about the, what I call it, the head measurements inside so much. Just take it out up a little bit there. And then let's just take her legs and stretch them upward a little bit. Set this down here at the base and bring that up to about right there. Alright, now we can kind of figure out if this is good or not. I might have actually moved her hips up too high. Let's see. I think I did. Alright. So let's go ahead and take this and just shrink it back down a little bit. We'll keep that right there. Just about that much. Okay. Just working in the basic character here to see how it all looks and try to fine-tune it a little bit if we need to. Let's see, put some knee in there. Bring this calf out. Okay. Bring her arms in. I'm not sure about that back arm, but we'll try to figure this out as we go along. And I might actually have made her neck a little bit long. That might be what part of this problem is. Let me try. We'll just take the whole body. Right here to the base of the neck. Bring it up just a touch more. Also might be that our skull is ending about where it should. feel like maybe one of the things is we just need more overlap right there between the forearm and the upper arm. Let's see, this would be about where her collarbones are. Yeah, I got things all messed up in here. I gotta get in closer where I can actually see what I'm doing. And her ribs would be right about here, coming back to there. So we're just cleaning up the sketch here, trying to get everything right. And it just feels like her shoulders are too massive for some reason here. And I think a lot of it has to do with the way that I've got the rib cage arcing out, like with that wing muscle that goes back here. Let's see. And we can clean this up some more. So let's say like belly button would be right around there. Her abs would be right around that point. Groin here. And we might want to arc this a little bit better. Maybe even, let's see, leave that be like that. Bring this down like so. Need a smaller eraser. Oops. I went too far out. Alright, so she's there, but she is looking kind of, I don't know, manly, I guess would be the way to put it. Alright. Let's see what we can do with that. Now, I know I do need this here. Maybe try to make sure we've got her neck like slenderized and let's see. Oops, on the button. Okay. I think I see what's going on here somewhat. What if we just slenderize this? Maybe I'm making her way too tough back here still. That's a little bit better. But then this shoulder muscle looks a little too strong as well. So let's make it a little bit less. This is coming in, and maybe there should be less of a delineation there. And maybe even slenderize that arm a little bit more. Okay. Now back here. Well, I think we're getting closer. That's a good thing. But I'm feeling like this arm and hand are too big. So let me go ahead and sketch this in on this layer so I can actually mess with it and just keep it going together. So there's this bit. All right. So let's try taking this from right about here in the upper arm. Take all of that and shrink it down just a bit. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. So then, yeah, that's about the right length, but I think her hand is too big now. So let's shrink this down just a touch too. Look right about there. And bring it in about there. I think that's working. And I might have even made her rear arm, technically her left arm there, might have made that go a little too short in comparison. So actually we'll just take this and let's just stretch it and see how that goes. That's not going to work. But we can just disconnect it. Maybe take it out about like that much. And bring her arm back together. That lengthens her upper arm a little bit to maybe better match her forearm. All right. We're still dealing with a lot of maybe too much distortion from like perspective here, so I'm gonna go ahead and actually enlarge this arm a bit, the whole thing. Go back to there. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. Just about that should be plenty. Okay, now I feel like it's matching with the character. And let's get back in a little bit. So, what if we enhance? Oh, I don't know, that's gonna be way too much. I'm thinking I've made her legs too powerful looking, probably, is what's really going on here. Let's just taper this down a little bit and bring this in a bit. We're just chopping off muscle mass at this point to try to make her look more feminine. Because she is a cleric and not like a barbarian or a fighter or any other type of brute damage dealer. Might even narrow her in right there just before the ankle, just to make that a little bit more dynamic. Now for the other leg, and then I'm going to fix this up a little bit. Okay, we're going to do the same thing over here. I'm just going to taper this in a bit, let it come back out, but we're going to slenderize, taper down, and then curve out on the foot. Okay. I don't really want to give her really big knees, just a little bit of a poke out there. Oh, here's another thing that might be affecting us. Alright, how does this look? Oops. Alright, it looks like she has some sort of a massive muscle problem in her butt. That's not what we're going for. That's a little bit better. And might even want to just crank this down and ease into that a little bit more. Okay. Oh boy. Let's see. Alright, I think we've got this character pretty well laid out now. I think things are mostly where they would belong. So let's go ahead and start throwing the costume together. Alright. So let's zoom in all the way here, 100%. Now what we're gonna do is put her collar in. So her collar is kind of like a stand-up V out here. Goes around. And at the back, it chops straight down like that. So you'd probably have some inside collar over here, and I should make my eraser smaller before I get into trouble using that. I'm gonna put just a little bit of thickness on that collar right there, so it's not just a single line. And it comes together just like this. Now she does have some trim on this, so we'll add more thickness over here, and it runs right around like that. It's in my example, that's gold trim on a blue outfit, but of course colors are up to the person coloring the book. So these can be whatever color the colorist wants them to be. Okay, now her outfit has this shoulder pad bit. Actually, we'll go back to the center here. She has a large round disc that rides right up here in the middle of her chest, and it's more of an oval shape, a long oval, so make it about right there. And we'll incorporate some thickness into this oval, just a little bit. So it is like this big medallion that's attached to her top here, and then she has her shoulder pieces that, let's see, they curve down like so, and they swoop into this disc, like right around the middle. Just like that. Same thing over here. Now it's of course gonna wrap around there for the shoulder part. It jumps out like so, and it should overhang just a wee bit more at the outside than it does at the inside. So I can just make a little adjustment to that right there, and then we'll go do it on the back. I'll fill that little section in with black right there. So this bit here, and we can clean out that bit of the shoulder that is now covered with this part of the outfit. Working our way down. So her outfit, we're gonna go right to just below her belly button. She has another big disc, which this one It's not quite as long oval, it's a little bit wider. Almost a circle, or close to a circle. And we're going to want to have some thickness on that too. So get it in here pretty decent. And then put just a little bit of a thickness line around it here. And that's, of course, in perspective, so because she's turned sideways, you're going to see it on this side. And her belt, right, so her belt is more straight across the top. And then at the bottom, it actually arcs down like that. And we'll put that there, and maybe right there. Clean up the interior lines. And round that off a bit more right there. Okay. So that separates her top half from her bottom half, the belt does. And then right here around where her ribs are, her outfit is actually split. And it's got a bit of trim here. It's like a kind of like an A shape. Let's go ahead and clean this line out. And we'll go down the other side. Okay. And just bring it together so it is like an A right here. Go ahead and take the belly button out. Don't really need to put that in there. Let's see. We're gonna go down. Basically, this circle piece that she's got on her chest is the separator for this other design element. So it looks kind of like an X. And it is wrapping around like so. And on the other side, same thing. Alright, we're going to jump back up here to her arms. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so I can see more of her arms all at once. And she wears these big gloves that come in right about here. And they clear her arm and then come together kind of long below her. It's got this nice big loose gauntlet look to it. And I'm going to go ahead and incorporate some wrinkles right here. And then bring this straight out to that. And up here, it's coming in. And some wrinkles there along the back of her hand, where the looseness of the gauntlet meets the tightness of her fingers, the back of her hand, and all that. And then she also has these billowy sleeves that are coming out of her vest. So we'll make her vest a little bit more solid right there. And Her sleeves would probably be hanging right about there. Over here, it might tuck in a bit, travel along. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the arm lines. And just kind of fill in this thickness with some wrinkles, large wrinkles that kind of follow what might be the form that that this shirt takes as it flows along here. I don't like that big heavy line right there. I think I was going for something a little different. Let's bring that in, let it come to that, maybe include some extra wrinkles right here where the top of the arm is kind of, or the top of the shirt along that upper edge of the arm would be maybe more wrinkly, getting bunched up as it tucks into that glove, and is also being pulled down by gravity. Okay. Let's see. So I don't like this one big heavy wrinkle down here, and it's coming in like too abrupt and too smooth. Let me make it a little bit more gentle. Maybe tuck that in there. A little bit more like that. And I'm going to go ahead and hatch in that part of the glove. Oh, and she has trim on her gloves too, so we got to make sure we put that line on there. Like earlier I was talking about, it's like a gold trim on a blue outfit, but again, the colors are subjective. Those are just the colors I chose when I decided to do my reference. Okay, now over here we're going to start with the glove again. I'm going to go ahead and bring it around in like one big circle right there. That's essentially where it is a glove, and then it comes to the point down here well below her arm. That line's going to shoot up like that. And we can get rid of most of this in here. So now we've got this big glove that she's wearing. Throw some trim on the back of it there. Try to keep it fairly uniform all the way along. Maybe even make that a little bit thicker at the back, since it is trim, just to give it that little bit of extra thickness. Make it look like it's, maybe it's like an embroidered, or not an embroidered, but like a trim that's attached to the glove. Now, we can throw some wrinkles in here where her wrist might be cranked a little bit, and maybe even throw some angled ones in here. But I don't want to put a lot of wrinkles in her gloves, and I don't really like the way that's looking. If anything, maybe let's try one right here, just like so. And maybe even, maybe not. Maybe just a couple of these little angled lines. Probably, that seems okay. I'm gonna worry about the fingers a little bit later on. Now, same thing over here, but this time we might even see the armholes in the vest because of how things are turned. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of these interior lines in the arm. And let's think. So this arm is coming out and up. I'm gonna go ahead and put the sleeve is gonna be getting tensed, like right here. I figured that is pretty much where everything is flowing to. And I'm just going to kind of erase things down, smooth them out. Get rid of the underarm. And let's see, I think I want to have that line cutting back in there. Maybe there's some shadow right, or a fold right there. Maintain this line. Maybe even put one in right here. Keep that one, and this one, and maybe another one right there. Just enough to really kind of sell the idea that this is cloth and that it is draping and moving around with the character. Okay. So let's take a look at where we're at and how this is looking. So I think it's looking pretty decent. We've got her laid in her upper torso. We've got her gloves. I should go ahead and just nail that hand while we're working on it here. So let's go ahead and maintain this, and I'm gonna arc her finger just a little bit. So she is wearing gloves, so you're gonna get more the suggestion of form than you are like the actual knuckles and whatnot. Alright, so we're gonna get rid of some of these lines. Might keep a little bit of a line right there at the knuckle. Maybe a little bit here. The third knuckle should be smaller, and the pinky knuckle is like almost always pretty much flat. So let's bring this finger in, bring it here, drop it down, and then back a little bit, keeping some thickness on each of these fingers because they are gloved and they should be a little bit thicker than what they would normally be if the hand was naked. Alright. Coming to the pinky finger. And somehow I've tweaked the pinky. It looks like it's broken. Let's fix that. Angle this that way. Okay, we'll get rid of these lines here. Get rid of some of this. And maybe extend it just a bit longer there. Okay, so all right. think that bottom part of the hand should kind of be in shadow, and we just really want to sell that thickness in the fingers. Okay. Not too happy with that one. It looks a little bit like it's ballooned. I might even have stretched it a little too high there, because it's like the thickest, or yeah, the fattest finger of all. So we'll just slenderize it a little bit. Okay. Come out, and it looks kind of like a hand. Now the third digit of the fingers is curving downward and back. The thumb would be over there. Could include just a touch of the thumb right there, just to help sell that. Maybe, yeah, we'll bring the palm in right there and clean this area out. But then we also need to make sure that the palm looks stronger than the wrinkly bits. Otherwise, it just looks like there's a lot of extra wrinkles there. Okay. So now, I guess we'll go ahead and put her mace in. And so the mace is pretty simple. We drew it in the last page, I believe. But, it's got this kind of short handle. It comes down about a hand length below where she typically seems to be holding it. And then it has this little bit of a flange on it. It's not real thick, just a little bit there. And that leads into this larger kind of disc-shaped thing. So this piece actually flares out a bit. And right. And it flares out here so that it can hold the ball that sits at the end of the base. So there is essentially a sphere here. We want to make this look as good as we can real quick. Clean that out of there. Alrighty. Oh, and I can clean out any of my other sketch lines that are in here. Now, at the point that's going above her hand, so she has a good high up grip on this thing. But, here is the handle coming up. Then we have, let's see, about right here. a sort of short piece that flares out just a little bit. So we're dealing with like metal coupling device or pieces that help to hold everything together. And then there is a slightly larger one here that flares out in a nice big round shape. And we will clear this out a bit. And now the rock comes out. And so the rock itself is generally approximately circular, but it is rough because it is a rock. So we'll get rid of the sphere here. And there is basically a section of ore here that's kind of in the center of the rock. Some sort of like, I imagine this is like some sort of a meteorite that either was found by the character or was bestowed upon her by her order. Alright, so I've got this all set up now. I'm just going to add some kind of thickness to these little ore lines. So there's an area there that you could color. And depending on like what the person wanted to do, these could be glowy, they could be dark, it could be whatever. Just anything to keep them interesting. And we'll go down this way. And over here. And they could even be just mundane gold or silver or whatever. Just something valuable. But I like the idea of magic myself. So just going over these lines, keeping some thickness. And I don't know if I don't think I've mentioned it this session, but what I'm doing right now is just the pencil sketch, I'm getting it pretty well worked up, but later on, I will come back and do the ink stage where I finalize all of the lines and keep them perfectly smooth and make it coloring book ready, which the pages that are actually flipping there, the completed pages, those have been inked, so they are not all sketchy and scribbly. They are smooth and like the finished product. Although the images are very small in that slideshow. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit more roughness to the rock here. Just a little bit. And let's see. Just kind of trying to keep it with an interesting shape that's not too angular and not too round, not too simple either. Like if I have a really simple looking angle, I would just want to get rid of that and add some extra stuff to it. But also that helps me to make it look like these ore veins are separating the rock into chunks or whatever, with the big central deposit of it there. And let's see, so that is that. Oop. Every time I go Control 0 to get all the way out, it takes it, because it is 2 pages, it takes it way out there like that. Alright, so it's roughly circular. I feel like it's kind of off on the side there. I don't like that. Let's get back in there and maybe shrink that side up just a bit. Almost like it's a melting ice cream cone that just slopped off the side right there. Okay, let's see, is this better? Yeah, that looks better to me. Okay, now we've got the upper body mainly done. Let's do the lower body. So we're gonna do the robes. So these trim parts right here that are the A-shaped portion there at her abdomen, that comes out as part of this main robe. Now, let's see. In this particular scene, she's like charged up with all this power, so we don't want our robes to really hang on her. I'm going to have them billowing out. And let's see. This piece does come like down to her ankles, so I'm going to take it right off the page right there. And on the other side, we're going to do the same general thing. The robe would be billowing outward, and we'll end it right about here. Now, throughout the book, I think I've usually drawn it with a split, but let's open up some other pages, or let me review some of these other pages just to make sure of how it's gonna look, how it does look. So in this one, you can't tell, it's been cut off. Okay, that was page 6. Page 8, you can't tell. Page 9, you can't tell. 10, she's sitting down. 11. Okay, yeah, I'm doing it as one piece there. Alright, that's what we're going to do. We're going to stick with this as one piece. So, this ends here, and it's all billowed out. We'll just bring it right around, about like so. So anything that's billowing is coming in, like you basically have a line coming from her hips there to the base, as far as a billowing marker. And let's see, we can go right here. But we don't need to do too much with that just yet, because there are other things to put in here. But I will go ahead and add in the thickness of the robe, so it's coming back to here. And then I'm going to drop it down like this to just be that edge. And over here, we'll give it a little bit of thickness. I don't want it to get really any thicker as it goes out. Other than maybe, if I'm going to do it at all, would do it right there at the very end. And then maybe carry this around like where it's coming in from up there. And then this could come down like so. You can do some lines here. Okay. Now for the other parts. So she also has this loincloth, which comes down to about her ankles. And this is going to be like one of the first times where it really becomes important how this thing wraps around her form. So we're going to bring this straight down like this. And I'm going to have it where it's kind of billowing and stuff down here. That should be good. But then she's got these other parts of it. So what we're going to say is that the front actually wraps around, which you aren't going to see that anyway right here. So it's not as important as I was just thinking. I was looking through the lines. But then the other side, or the back part of it, comes across right here. And so there is that separation right there. And the back of it might basically be coming in like so. And it also will have some billowing properties. You won't actually see it on the other side, but now because of that being there, we're no longer seeing so much of her buttocks and her upper thigh. I'll fill that section in black. Yeah, so that's the general layout. Let's just fine tune it a little bit. I don't really like how broken that line is, like it's all jagged. So let's try to smooth this out a little bit. Just about like that, and maybe I want to even increase that fold right there. And the trim, which is coming out here, it actually only runs to the bottom. So we will continue that to there, bring it up like so, and maybe even, you don't really want to make it thicker anywhere because it is just a line of trim. And I've got lots of scribbles going on in here. So that's where I have the one problem, because I went with the outer curve and not keeping it straight. There we go. Then over here, yeah, same thing. Let's simplify a little bit. Take this straight across here, take that right there. And bring this down. And let's see, so we can clear out everything here that is now covered by cloth, so that we know what we need to work on. Clean out the leg. Alright, most of that is actually on the original concept sketch, which was again very loose. Let's see, what else do we got going on here? All right, let's just zoom in here and make sure all these lines are getting some good attention. I'm gonna bring in some more wrinkles for this loincloth. As we work our way down to the edge of it here. And then it comes out right here. And what was I doing with this curve? Oh, okay. So we're gonna, oops, bring this right here and carry this line around just like that. So we have this sort of twisted triangle shape. That is essentially the inside of the thing folded to the outside, and then the rest of this is really just billowing. Let's see. There's this. Maybe put a line there. Trying to carry the action of this garment. And I did some simple squiggly lines there to show the movement, but we don't want them all to be exactly the same. So let's see. I'm going to take this one and bring it up like that. And then this area, in fact, I think maybe we'll do it just like that. And this one would carry right about like so. Clean some of that out, clean this out. So, yep, now we have essentially this big flowing loincloth that goes across the front of the character. We have this piece here that's coming along the back, and I'll put some extra lines in that. It's dropping down. And it also has some kind of dynamic flow to it. But I don't like the way that just went. So let's see. What if we go like so? Bring that to there. And just kind of let it flow across right there. Then we will clean out this stuff in here. And I feel like I want to alter that main robe there so that it's billowing upward as it goes out. Maybe it doesn't even have these lines in it. like the folds and whatnot. I could put some though, just a little bit though. In fact, I could even take that to like a shadowy black up in there just to show that it is it's in the background, kind of having some shadow from the whole drapery thing going on there. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, okay. So I've got that arcing down, and that's way up there. So let's do. Let's go ahead and bring it a little bit higher here. Get rid of it right there. And then for this side, oops, let's go ahead and give it a nice gentle slope like that. Because at this point we are looking at the heavy outer robe, and it's going to be probably somewhat less dynamic than the lighter robes. Get rid of that line. And we could do the same over here. Hatch this area in a little bit. And carry out some of these little fold lines like that. Alright, now she needs her knee pads and her boots. So her boots have a slight heel to them. Let's go right down here. And just put that on there. And I can use a straight line there. Then her toes do curve up just a little bit at the end of her boots. We'll go ahead and do that. Bring that together nice and smooth. And just put a little bit of a line there in the heel. So here, you're going to get the same thing where if her foot hits the ground there, her boot does curve upward. And let's see, yeah. How high should that go, really? Okay, well that is different too, right? Yeah, okay. Okay. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of a dark shadow down here for where that part of the toe is curving upward. And then back here, I'm gonna keep her feet sort of what do I want to say? Kind of like bulging into the bottom of the boot, but that's more of a thing about the angle. And of course she has a heel on this boot as well, which would be back there. You won't actually see it, but you might see the back of her foot back there behind her ankle that way. Now the boots themselves come up to about her knees, but her knees are covered by big discs, and these discs are kind of egg-shaped. So let's see, let's find the center line of her knee, which would be right around there. Over here it would be out there. So these are pointy at the top, and they are oval at the bottom. And in this case, let's see, we're going to go ahead and bring them in about like so. They're not going to look much different from the side, except that in the side you actually realize that they are bulging out as opposed to just being like a flat disc. Now her boots come across like so. I think it actually should have more of a cut to it, like this. And over here, there'll be a little bit. But then the boots have a design, which is like a trim. And it goes right along there. So over here, this trim is poking down like so. You've got this curve that follows the shape of that egg, and then the outer edges angle back. And what else do we need? I think that's it, except for her head and face. And her magic, of course. She needs to have her magic. Oh, but let's put in some billow lines back here for that rear loincloth to help just kind of bring that in there a little bit. And let's see. I'm not real thrilled with the way that was looking, so let me try not to have so much of a little separation there. We'll go with more like this. And then, yeah, so her legs are just smooth, which could be tights or not, depending on how they get colored. So let me see. I'm going to take a short break here, go get some more coffee, and then I will be right back. And I am back. So, I am trying to get this coloring book done. It is my fantasy coloring book, and I had plans to get this book done um, before Christmas this year, but I've been doing some math today, and I'm not so sure I'm going to make it. I mean, it's not that much more to do, really. When you think about it, this is page 26 and 27 out of 32, so I have, counting this, 7 pages and a cover to do, but I also have to ink all of the pages, and I only have them inked up to page 20, so that leaves me with 12 pages to ink in addition to these drawings, and I'm just not sure I'm going to make it unless I start cranking them out a lot faster than what I have been. But I am trying, I just don't know that I can actually do it. Let's see, so that's what's going on there. Go ahead and get her face in. So she has general features, pretty much. Her nose slopes downward, like so. Now she is releasing all of this magic, so she might kind of have her mouth open. Maybe her teeth are even gritted in there. Maybe. Little chin. Smooth swoop back to the neck. Let's go ahead and clear some of my construction lines out of here. And let's see. Okay. So, it's okay. Making little adjustments here. Now, she is an elf, so, she kind of has, big pointy ears, but we're going to start here with her eyebrows above her eyes, and her eyebrows are thicker at the center, and then they get thinner as they go out. And she has eyes, of course. Maybe some eyelashes here. And let's see, a little bit of a cheekbone. Don't want to make her look like she's starving or skeletal, just a little bit of form right there. And then, let's see, so her jawline actually would come across here, swoop up a bit like that, and her ears, now her ears are big. I'd like to do elves with really big ears. And her ears, they swoop backward and they angle up. About like so. Oh, and then it's about like that. So we'll just clear out that little bit of her headline back there. some forms in there. Okay. I think I just want to put a little bit of this jawline here. We don't really want to outline her whole jaw. Can break this maybe. Oh, and I can thin down that heavy line right there. So you don't want to have like a big heavy line on the jaw. That also will let me carry this collar. I can maybe, I'm probably gonna hatch that in like that. And then of course she would have her neck muscles here. And she has hair, so we gotta put the hair in. Let's say her hairline comes about like so. And she has a bit there that curves outward like that, and it drops down. It's almost sideburns, but not quite. It's more of a string of hair that's just hanging down right here in front of her ear. I can get rid of some more of these construction lines. And let's see. Now she has for her hair, let's see, so it's pretty much combed back right here. But then it's also arcing upward as you go forward, with some hair that has, it's like bangs curving around right here. And as we go, it starts to arc back this way. And out here, I'm gonna have it kind of billowing out a bit, just like how I was doing with the robes. I'm gonna have some of her hair here covering her neck, some coming in right around here. Just about like that. And we can get rid of all the construction lines in here. Just kind of bring this together. Okay. So let me just make sure that I'm carrying enough lines in here to express what's going on. Alright, I think that's about done it. And we can get rid of some more of these guidelines out here. And kind of just work out that headline so that, you know, her skull is not actually showing through her hair. And, well, let's move some of this around a little bit. Maybe fill that in. That should do it, I think. I think it looks pretty decent. I do have some more sketchiness right here that I can clean out. And we can get rid of that line. All right. So now she needs some magic. And let's see, we've got, I'm gonna go ahead and put a circle on this. We'll just use a pre-shape or an actual shape here. Keep it nice and circular. We don't want it black though. Let me change this down. Fill is off. Stroke of, say, 2. And we'll just go ahead and put that right about there. And I can duplicate it. Make it a little bit thicker, just like that. Whoops. Let's merge those layers and make sure that it's not going to do that goofy thing. Okay. There is a thing that I can do in Photoshop. I've done it before where I like try to merge these things together, or maybe it's if I, what do you call it? If I just rasterize the shapes that I'm using, then when I try to erase parts of them, it literally just makes it some weird blob shape. Like everywhere that you erase it tries to keep some sort of thickness. It's very weird, hard to describe without just showing it. But I think that might be if I just rasterized it, not if I was merging it like that, because I didn't have any problem. Okay, and I didn't want to merge that right into the layer that I'm using for the cleric, because I would have had to worry about messing up my hand right there with what I did do. But now it is all the same layer, and we're gonna do, I'm gonna zoom out so I can see what's going on here. I am going to, I think, do some radiant lines for this. So what I want to do is, actually I'm going to do a line tool. And if I draw this line from, say, like the center here, and go out right there, then do another one out right here, another one here, just kind of trying to get some of these forms or these lines in here, so it looks like a kind of like there's going to be a beam of light that actually originates from within the rock. So I've got all these lines that we're actually not going to keep it all. I'm going to merge them together. And then... okay, what I'm going to do is go back down to my original layer. I'm just going to give these a little bit of thickness. Back to here. Maybe. Oh. My bad. I was not on my brush. I was still on the line tool. Alright. So I'm just going to the tips of them and adding a little bit of thickness. That first stroke that I did right there, I don't like. That was way too far out. And I can actually, let me turn my flow up to 100% and see what I get out of that. Yeah, that's better. So right now we're just making these triangle shapes that are coming out of the rounded form, and I will be fine-tuning this a little bit more in a moment. We'll just get these in here first. Couple more. Alright, that's good. So now, like I said, I don't need those lines anymore. Get rid of them. And what I'm going to do now is just indent these right here. And eliminate that edge line. This one might not be quite so much. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. So this should help to sell the idea that there is a basically light emanating from the meteorite, some sort of magical power. Let's go ahead and take this one way out there. So with all magic, you want to make it what do you call it? Not uniform. You want it to have some variation, because magic is by its very nature a force of chaos. It's something that's not supposed to happen according to the natural laws of physics. So when you're doing stuff like that, it should be unpredictable, uneven, chaotic. And I'm going to add just a few more of these little things freehand here. Maybe a couple of them right there. Oops. All right. And one more right here. And one right there. Okay. So that's pretty decent. And of course, like I said before, when I get to inking, that'll all be uniform as far as the, being 100% black with the lines. But for now, that's decent. I do like this kind of particle glow thing that I've got going on in the reference, so I'm going to do that around her other hand. Zoom in here. And for this one, I'm going to freehand a sort of oval shape, but it's going to be sort of globular like that. And we're going to give it a little bit of thickness. I want to have this be somewhat organic, so I don't want it all to be exactly the same thickness. I want it to taper off here at the bottom, just like that. And then, oh, and I'm going to turn my flow back down to 40% before I forget. And let's see, then I'm going to just go ahead and put in some kind of large circle shapes out here around the thing. Maybe add one right there, one there. And in here, I might indent that a bit more. Maybe even kind of indent that a bit more. And again down here. Now, within this form is where my dark particles are going to be the most prominent and largest. Let's go to a size of, say, 30. And I'm just going to sort of randomly put circles in here that aren't touching each other. Well, that one's touching. No, it looks like I had done another one that was touching and didn't even notice it. And that one's pretty close. Alright. Now I'm going to go down to a size of 20 and add some more. Now, these ones can kind of touch a little bit. I'm still keeping them mostly right inside that shape. But now I'm going to go ahead and put a few out here, trying to be a little bit random with them. Okay. And then at a size of 10, I'm just adding a few more. This is giving me 3 different sizes of these dots. Alright. And that should do it. And I'm going to go ahead and erase the centers of them. So now this is just this very different looking magical particle effect. Some of them still have like a full dark form. Others have 1 or 2 glowy open dots in them. And that should do it. So now it's sort of like a plasma thing going on there, and we might do more with that later on, but it is going to be time to move on to the next character. So, we're going to go to the, what do you call it? The female dwarf ranger here, and we're going to go ahead and put her in. Now, I talked about this in the last session where I had sketched her out, and then I put the 4 heads tall measurement there. She's coming up a little short, so I'm just going to go ahead and go to, I believe that's layer 4, yes. So we're going to call this concept. And I'm just going to go ahead and select that part of it. So that's her character. And I'm going to stretch it to fit this thing just to begin with. So there we go. She's now fitting within that height and set up at that depth. Actually, oops. I'm not sure if that's going to work or not. Maybe. There's always that little bit of twitch that it likes to do and not stay exactly where it was. So I had to stretch it back down a little bit to go to that baseline. But alright, that's the concept layer. Now we're going to actually sketch her out, just like we did with the cleric. So now I'm going to my dwarf ranger level layer. And and so we're gonna go ahead and turn the opacity of this layer down to, in this case, let's go with 40%. Throw a layer on top, merge it down. Now we can sketch on that, and that grid line is now much smaller. And I think we've been drawing a size of 5, so we'll keep with that. Now she is here. You can see, let me think, the front of her character, and she is looking back at that guy. So now her head should fill this whole sphere here. And that's going to be her eye line, nose, and mouth. Now, the shoulders coming out. And how do I have you twisted around here? Okay, so her ribs are here. Center line is like right here. And then, so there's that. Actually want to make it more like right here. Yeah, okay. Now her torso is coming in right here. But she's twisting. So her abdomen is twisting like that. Her back is twisting here, and that's probably way too much. But it is very dynamic looking. So then this is her rear and her legs. Come to her knees. Lower leg here. Foot right here. And her foot is arched hard like that. So it would be more like this. And then this leg is coming back here. The knee would be right there. Lower leg coming back like so. This foot might be arched as well. Might even get some shape there like that, the same way. And then here, got the arm. And she is holding her bow. So that's the hand right there. Fingers. And then her bow. Comes through here. And this bow is pretty much like a great bow. Or at least for a dwarf, it's like a great bow. And let's see. So the shoulder into the neck. This arm is tucked down. Forearm coming across right here. And her hand. So everything's kind of mashed right there. I should just keep this straight, but yeah. Now it's a mess. Alright, hold on. Anyway, if I go from this point to this point, we get a line that's like that. And that's not very even. It's way out back here. So this probably ought to be more like in here. Alright. Let's see how that looks. Still not very even. Wow, alright. Let me do it right there. Okay, so then wherever her hand is, let me think. I don't like the way this is looking. The idea was that she was going to be starting to grab the bowstring, I believe. But, I'm not liking the way this is going. So let's change that up a little bit. Let's see, so this is her torso. And we're gonna get rid of all of her arm there. And I think what I'm gonna do instead is maybe have her midway between the two things. She is drawing her bow out, but then in the other hand, she has her sword still. And her sword would be like right here. Basic stuff here. So she might even be possibly one-armed parrying the or the gnome barbarian. But then this foot, I'm not happy about that foot right now. What if it is actually flat? Like right here. I think I like that a little bit better. And let's see. Not sure I like the twist in her head. I am thinking maybe. She ought to be looking more that way. Maybe. That might be a thing. And I might have brought her chin back too far. All right. So she's mostly laid in here. So let's just kind of keep on going, bringing characters in a little bit better, I think. Maybe. Or maybe we just keep working on this one. How about that? I don't really want to get jumping into another character. We got another 30 minutes to go with tonight's live stream, so yeah, let's just stick with this character. And so, let's see. What do I want to do with her? Okay. Just trying to think of how everything's coming together here. I don't think I like that leg being pushed so far back because, I mean, I don't like that extreme twist that I put into her torso to begin with. So let's go with, let's see. Closer, actually. So let's try putting that foot right there. Clean this area up some so that we can see what we're doing. Maybe bring it a little bit further in then. Right about there. All right. Then her hips would be like right here. That's your leg. Abdomen going in, and you're gonna lose everything that's right there. And it's very funky, very not right. And of course she's got a more rounded belly. And torso here. So, okay, and then the other area that's going to be an issue here is like her shoulder, her arm. It's coming out way too far back there, so it's like separated. That should be more like that. The arm would be here, hand, like so. I'm gonna get rid of the bow as it was. And I'm gonna thicken up her leg a bit. Okay. Something like this. And I think this whole stretch thing right here is what's really not working. It worked with the twist, but the twist itself didn't work at all. So what we're gonna do instead, bring this leg down about like so. There's where the knee is. Should I bring it back? I think it should stay down like so. So that leg is there. This arm probably ought to come up like so and be a little bit more engaged. So let's get rid of the bow. And these goofy string lines that I was putting in there. Let's try to figure this out. Okay, so now she doesn't look like she has much of a like dynamic power going on here. It's kind of a stiff and static pose, and that's not what we want. But I'm thinking that arm there, maybe this leg. Yeah. So this leg will be thrusting back. And she might even be up on her toe. There. We will clear this out. And then the other leg, well, let's go ahead. I'm going to get rid of that hand again. Just figuring out the forms. Okay. So that goes there. This is coming out right here, going into the knee, down to the calf. The hips are wrapping into the side, down to the knee. Just going down into the shin. And the other leg is over here. Something like that. And she is 1, 2, 3. Yeah, she's still about 4 heads tall, where she's supposed to be. Let's see. Now we're just figuring out, let's see, how this arm is going to be over here. And of course, she's looking really lean right now. I gotta fix that too. Let's see. That arm, instead of having it bent like this, maybe I should have it slightly bent up like this and have her sword tipping forward like that. And this arm back here, she might be reaching up and back to grab her bow, which would be wrapped. Let me get rid of this arm again. All that. So I initially had the idea, I wanted her to be like saying screw that with the gnome with his huge sword that he's using. Basically saying screw that and like pulling her bow to shoot him, or using her bow to shoot him. But let's see, so the hand could be like right here, and then the arm is like right there. Alright, just roughing it all in real quick. And we gotta figure out how this all comes together. So yeah, it's a little bit of a mess here. There's that. Round this off. Take that down there. Not like that though. Let's see here. So essentially we're getting rid of the twist that I had to begin with, changing it up. Giving her a little bit more of a power pose or a stronger stance. And I hate that arm. That just looks horrible. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the bow for now, too. So let's see. So this arm be something like that. That might take a little bit of work to figure out. I might have to do some posing of my own just to figure out how that looks when you reach up behind yourself to get the bow. But let's see. Now the other thing is we're back in this same bind here like what I had with the cleric. I think I need to strengthen the backside here. Alright, but of course now that leg is like stupid thick. Not really what we want. Maybe then we just slide this over about like so. Okay. That might be about right. We can get rid of some of these lines here. Trim this up some more. Yeah, so this part is tricky because it's like you've got the shoulder here coming in. You've got the upper arm, the forearm. And then it's just like stuff looks too long no matter what you do. Okay. Alrighty. And of course, let's see. Oh, I never pulled up my Dwarf Ranger reference anyway. Oh boy. At least not for this session. But we'll be doing that. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and terminate this session here. I've gotten this character as far as I'm going to tonight. I think I'm just too tired to keep going. So I'm gonna try to be back tomorrow. I'm always trying to be here on time. It's supposed to be 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. And shit keeps going bad and I keep not making it. But I do end up streaming usually whenever I do have the time to do it. Like today, we started at about 5:30, something like that. So yeah, we've been going for 2.5 hours. So yeah, it must have been about 5:30 today, or 5:15 maybe. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and terminate this, and tomorrow when we come back, we will pick up with the Dwarf Ranger and the Dwarf Ranger reference sheet, so that we can get her laid in properly, make her look good in this scene, and we'll come back out here. So this is our 2-page spread. We're working on putting all the heroes and the bad guys and the undead into this whole big epic final battle, and it should be pretty cool when it's all said and done. It's already looking pretty decent, I think. I like the way the cleric's looking in this scene. I like that a lot. Oh, I just noticed. Yeah, it's kind of a problem with her foot. Let's see. Let's get back down here. So, the foot that's technically further back in the background is actually lower down than the foot that is in the foreground. So let's just take her foot and move it up to about there. I thought that boot looked like it was kind of long, but it wasn't really bugging me. That should do it. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, so we fixed that. Sometimes it's a simple little thing. Anyway, we've got the elf cleric here. She's casting her magic. We've got the dwarf ranger there getting ready to switch over to her bow. We'll get her done next session, and maybe we'll get the gnome barbarian done as well, because their interaction should be kind of interesting, and that's going to carry us across the 2 pages right there. So this has been a session of the Fantasy Coloring Book. If you've enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe my YouTube channel if you're watching it there. If you're here on Twitch, follow me so you can get the notification when I go live. And yeah, I'd appreciate it. Also, this is the layout. We've got 20 pages of art already done. It's going to be a 32-page book of original art. It has at least 8 locations in the book, and there are at least 11 characters, which I believe 10 of them, along with the zombies, are in this particular scene that we're working on. So, thank you so much for stopping in. I hope you've enjoyed the stream, and I will see you in the next one.